So, off rip, I just gotta say, my predictions for this chapter were completely wrong, but I am far more happy than I could have ever expected. I think that the contents of this chapter leading into the next volume, volume 101, and the next chapters are going to be the pinnacle tragic moment of Wano, and I'm just beyond excited of what the next chapters could hold. I know I said I wanted Oda to just go ham on the tragedy moments, but this is next level, and I didn't expect him to go at such a fast pace. I expected it to somehow end in the next few chapters, but I think at this point it could possibly end in like a chapter from now or two. Like, it's just really fast, and I'm very excited with the results of it. Before I get into the contents of this chapter and my review of it, I just want to let you know that if you enjoy the content, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. You know, the generic YouTube spiel, but hey, it helps out a lot, and it lets me know that you all are enjoying the content as much as I'm enjoying making it. Now that that's out of the way, I'll get right into the review. Hope you enjoyed. Chapter 1014 is called A Lifelong Ham Actor. When I first saw the chapter name, I was like, okay, Chondro chapter? Really excited. However, this kind of dissuaded me from my idea of the Worst Generation chapter, but again, I am completely fine with this chapter because I thought this was absolutely amazing all the way through. The action once again continues directly after the events of the last chapter, with Kaido looking down on Luffy as he's falling down to the ocean. Kaido dismisses Luffy for not being able to use Conqueror's Haki to his fullest extent, and unlike everything I predicted about Luffy being saved in any way whatsoever by either Momonosuke or Yamato, he just falls into the ocean, and obviously, since he's a Devil Fruit user, that's a horrible thing to happen. Kaido then berates Luffy again by using Gum Gum attacks, using, his Gomu Gomu no attacks, and calls Luffy weak and that he couldn't possibly be quote unquote, I want to make sure I have this quote unquote because this was absolutely insane. Seems like you couldn't be Joy Boy either. Now this raises a ton of questions in my mind, like what is becoming Joy Boy? Is Joy Boy a person or is Joy Boy a rule? Was there a past Joy Boy that isn't just, the one from Fishman Island all those years ago? Was Roger possibly Joy Boy? There's just so many questions that come into my mind, and this is never addressed again for the rest of the chapter, so I just want to get my thoughts out now, because that was just, I think that was the craziest reveal of the chapter, even though there's already tons of other crazy stuff in this chapter. Like, oh my god, this chapter was so good. Right after this, Kaido's one squirrel assistant, the one who has the ability to place kind of papers all over Onigashima and view them, says to Kaido that they have found Momonosuke. And Kaido is just the MVP of this chapter because he's like, oh, okay, I'll head there immediately to go confront Momonosuke. He then tells Bao Huang to get his message out that he said he would have at the end of the last chapter to tell the entirety of Onigashima that Monkey D. Luffy and the Scabbards have fallen. It then cuts back to Momo after this entire Kaido Bao Huang section, where we see Momo is still reading Oden's journal. After this section of kind of dread and anticipation building up, Momo realizes something in the journal, and he doesn't reveal why. He, meaning both Momo and Oda, we have to keep the reader in suspense. But Momo says for some reason he feels as though he can't die, meaning that Oden must have left some pertinent information for Momonosuke, and unfortunately we don't know. Now, after this scene, I'm not gonna lie, I felt like there was gonna be a big lull in the chapter, because out of nowhere, after all this tension with Kaido and Momonosuke, we cut to Chopper. And now, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't been a huge fan of Chopper in this arc, but I did think in this chapter it was pretty compelling. So, for the Chopper section of the story, instead of focusing on him healing stuff, we cut back to something that was shown chapters and chapters ago, which is him actually trying to fight Queen. I definitely did not expect this to come back. I felt like Chopper would kind of hold him off for Zoro and Sanji to fight, which is why they were heading to the live floor. But Chopper actually having some action with Queen, you know what? It was pretty cool. Especially because Chopper actually had kind of a mini vignette into a backstory. So it's revealed that sometime on the Sunny, Caesar and Chopper actually worked together in order to make sure that Chopper's Rumble Balls would be able to have an extended period of time. However, Caesar put this little line in there that has me really intrigued about how there's a risk with what Caesar is planning. So I'm wondering, could that possibly lead to Chopper being Berserk Chopper again? Because I thought that was like the coolest stuff ever back in Enies Lobby. The next scene that follows up is Bao Huang actually getting down to the live floor and telling everyone in the entire Onigashima Island that Luffy and the Scabbards have failed. After this, because it's like almost like a loudspeaker kind of thing, we get to see all of the Straw Hats from every single place in the Onigashima Island kind of reacting. So it's a big double page spread showing everyone's reaction to Kaido's announcement. My favorite moment in this double page spread actually comes from the Law and Kid reactions to this, because Law is visibly shaken because Law is bet on Luffy to be like he's the guy who's going to take down Kaido, and Kid is very arrogant, saying, "What does Luffy failing have to do with me? I'm the one you're supposed to be fighting, Big Mom." During this time, Kaido also slips into the Skull Dome, unlike from most of the arc where he was on the rooftop as the dragon form from the same hole that Big Mom blasted Kid into at, I think, chapter 1011? The ending section of this chapter is a conflict between three of Oden's Scabbards, Kinemon, Okiku, and the traitor Kanjuro. The scene starts with Kanjuro noticing where Momonosuke, Kinemon, and Kiku are, while also hinting that Kaido's forces know where all of them are as well, with an animal having the same exact symbol that the girl Bao Huang has, meaning that that animal is actually a camera that she can see. At the same time, Momonosuke is very eager to tell Kinemon something, saying that he has to tell everyone something that he learned from the journal. However, Kanjuro does a massive brain move and becomes Oden right as Momonosuke sees him, so Momonosuke completely believes that Kanjuro is his father. However, Kiku and Kinemon, already knowing this, begin to attack Oden, well, the fake Oden, Kanjuro. Kanjuro then uses his acting skills to manipulate Okiku to thinking that this Oden is actually the real Oden, and in a brilliant twist, Kanjuro, as Oden, slices through Kiku, stabbing her through the chest. After she gets stabbed, Kiku falls to the ground and realizes how sorry she is that she couldn't just take down Kanjuro, and she apologizes to Kinemon for being unable to do so. If this is Kiku's actual death, I am again hoping it is to further emphasize the tragedy right now. I think this is a really good way for her to go out, with a manipulative, vengeful attack from Kanjuro. Immediately after Kiku's apology, however, Kanjuro is struck down by Kinemon with just one attack. And what's cool about this isn't the double page attack that Kinemon does, it's Kanjuro's reaction to his attack. Instead of feeling angry or even in pain, Kanjuro is smiling and laughing, saying it's almost poetic how Kinemon took down Kanjuro, because this is just to us as the readers. This is almost Oda talking as Kanjuro directly to us, where Kanjuro says, "It's as though we were always painted out as the best friends, so it's fitting that you ended me on the stage." Now, once again, for the tragedy of this moment, I legitimately do hope that Kanjuro is out right now, because I think he will not get a better death scene than that. I felt it perfectly fit his traitorous and actor-like role, and the chapter is literally named after him, so I feel like this has to be his death. Now, immediately after this as well, so we have two crazy events, and then a third one where Kaido just barges in through the wall, seemingly, and is ready to attack Momonosuke. However, Kinemon is on the defense and tells Shinobu and Momonosuke to run away. Now, I certainly did not expect this, because I assumed Kaido would have been showing up in the next chapter. I was literally thinking, oh, at least I have prediction for the next chapter, but now I literally don't. That is how amazing this chapter is. Just so many things happen one after the other. That's just like bam, bam, bam. Like I mentioned in my last video, I wanted it to be climax after climax after climax, and this is exactly what this chapter is. Now, the chapter ends with Kaido getting a Conqueror's Haki attack on Kinemon, who is trying to block him and allow Momonosuke and Shinobu to escape. But there's one more really important fact after that. One we see that Kinemon's sword breaks and that Momonosuke is screaming for Kinemon. However, we don't see the aftermath of their fight. The last panel of this chapter has me so immensely excited for the next chapters to come, because it shows that the island of Onigashima is now completely over the mainland of Wano, meaning that Kaido is able to drop it on Wano at any time now. He could set the ticking clock to just end at any time, meaning he is in full control of the situation, and I love it. Another thing I love about this chapter is the fact that Kinemon might actually be dead now. I thought it was kind of ridiculous that Kinemon didn't die on the rooftop along with the other scabbards, but seeing that Momonosuke did see Kinemon die is exactly what I wanted, because he was like the father figure for Momonosuke after he lost his father Oden. So this feels like a double hit of losing their father figures after trying to protect their family, specifically from Kaido, and I think it's really good in the grand scheme of the story. This chapter was fantastic. Like, I thought the other one was pretty good, but this just, oh my god, this like blows it out of the water. Oh my god, it's kind of insane. I was thinking, what do I even rank this chapter as? Because like the hype that I feel right now is so high, but honestly, after rereading the chapter a few times and just thinking about all the possibilities it can lead to, I'm gonna say it. I think this is a solid 10 out of 10 chapter from One Piece. I think this is honestly one of the best chapters of Wano so far, like without a question, because of how insane it is. And it's wild. It's just a wild ride through and through, and my mind is just thinking of all the possibilities that could possibly come from this chapter. At this point, I have no idea what to expect literally at all. Like, I expect there to be tragic moments, but as to what extent or to what character will be in the next chapter, I have no clue. And I think that makes me the most excited I've been for Wano in a while. It feels like there's this sense of uneasiness, and I think Oda definitely portrayed that really well with this chapter. Now, I'm curious, what do you all think is going to happen in Wano right now? Like, who do you think is going to pull something out of their hat this time? Who do you think might possibly get brutally injured or possibly die? You know, Oda doesn't kill people barely ever if they're in the present time. But if anyone does possibly die, who do you think it would be? Or who do you think is going to get hurt? Let me know, for real. Because I think this has so much potential for, like, just talking about it. So, I'm eager to hear what you all think. And with that, those are my thoughts on chapter 1014. Hope you had a good one, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, remember, like, comment, subscribe, share it around, because I think that this chapter has so much just inspiration for community interaction, and I'm eager to see what you all think. Have a good one, and I hope you enjoyed the video. This will be the shortest post-production thoughts ever, but I am just... that Joy Boy line from Kaido, it's got me so shook. You know what I mean? It's just, what does it mean? What does it mean, you know? It's just, there's so much in this chapter, and it's insane. It's just insane. I literally, like I mentioned earlier, no idea what could happen next. And I'm excited. This is going to be a fun... Oh, no break next week. That's pretty amazing. But this is gonna be a fun time for the community.